I want you guys to do me a favor. Close your eyes for just a few minutes and think about the person that you love the most, or just someone you love in general. I want you to think about all the good times you guys had. And then I want you to just imagine something happening to them. It's a very hard thought, right? You don't want to imagine that, right? But I just want you to just follow me here. Imagine that something tragically happened to them. Someone hurt them or unalived them in a brutal way. I want you to think about that. 10, 15, 20 years later, time goes by. You're not completely over it, but you're coping with the fact that they're gone now. They're never coming back. And you get online one day and you see this rich, privileged white woman saying that she wouldn't have mind having lunch with the person who killed your loved one or meeting the person who killed your loved one. Not only that, I want you to then think about some big media TV movie producing company then taking that story or the mini stories, because they had several victims, their killer had several victims, and then they take those stories and they turn it into a documentary / show, movie, whatever you want to call it, and make money off of it without even consulting with you about the things that went on in your precious loved one's life. They cashed in, they got billions, over 1 billion views, one of the most streamed documentaries, and you haven't seen a single dime. You haven't been consulted with, but you see all over online how now the person who again killed your loved one is now being romanticized. He was handsome. He was sexy. I wanted him to kill me, are the things that they're saying online. Other women are going online saying how they wouldn't have mind being tied up or beaten or X, Y, and Z by the person who killed your loved one. Now, open your eyes, if you haven't already. As insane and dystopian as it sounds, it is a true reality for the people that are the families of the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. And a couple weeks ago, Ariana Grande is the rich, privileged white woman that I was speaking of earlier. People were kind of getting on her online because she went on a podcast. She said that, when she was just in the beginning of her pop star career, she was an adult. I just want y'all to remember that. And she said that she would have mind having a lunch or meeting Jeffrey Dahmer.
Years ago, before the Dahmer series, it was in a Q&A with fans, with young fans. It was young fans at the time. It was with a parent. Someone said, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be? Mom and dad? Is it okay if I give the real answer? And they were like, sure, I guess. What's the answer? And I was like, Jeffrey Dahmer's pretty fascinating. I think I would have loved to have met him.
Wow. You couldn't think of anybody else. I want you to understand why so many people were upset with her when that came out of her mouth. Because the people who were the victim's family is still alive and able to see the shit that is going on all over the internet. They're still dealing with the fact that they have lost their loved ones no matter how long ago it was. Not only were they killed and beaten or whatever the case is, they were also eaten. Some of them were eaten. So I just want you to keep that in mind, how sadistic that is and how people are online romanticizing a man who was a cannibalist. Not only did Jeffrey Dahmer do that in itself, he targeted a certain demographic of people. He targeted gay black men because he knew the police would be less likely to go looking for them. He knew that no one would give a shit if a gay black man went missing. What's new? Get over it. I highlighted the fact that it was a rich, white, privileged individual who made that comment. Because for some reason, I see often that is white people making light of situations where black people were the victims. We see it all the time with slavery. We see it all the time with segregation. We see it all the time, and Lord knows what else that goes on. We see it all the time. But I'm going to save that for another video. I wish I knew a direct answer as to why people romanticize serial killers. The only answers I can come up with is just either A, trauma bonding, or 2, shock value.
So a few people have been asking me my opinion on Jeffrey Dahmer because of this new series, and I wish I would stop asking me that, because if you've been following me, you already know I love Dahmer. But on top of that, every time I say I love Dahmer, y'all get in my comments and tell me he's disgusting.
Another reason that I think people romanticize serial killers is because I don't think that some people realize what actually happened. I think people are so caught up in the fact of true crime and a crazy story that they're forgetting that these crimes actually were committed. And it's not just some crazy story made up for your entertainment. No, these were real people, real victims, and real killers out there doing these things. And I think people forget that and they start to romanticize it. You know what's crazy about that show, Dahmer? I tried to watch it at least 4 times. I could not get through that series. And about a week and a half into it, I was just like, I think I should just give it up. It ain't gonna happen. And it got to one of the scenes where he was eating one of his victims, and I almost threw up everything that I ate that day. Like, it was bad. So just seeing that and then having to go online and be like, oh my God, Jeffrey Dahmer, he's so fucking sexy. I'm gonna dress up as him for Halloween for 3 Halloweens in a row. Like, what is going on? And the only way that I can make it make sense to other people who may not still understand why this is kind of a big deal, like you shouldn't romanticize them. Maybe you shouldn't be dressing up as them as Halloween costumes. Maybe you shouldn't be, talking about, you're falling in love with them and you want them to also slaughter you. I want you to think about school shooters. I want you to think about people who do mass shootings. No one usually feels sympathy for them except for the justice system. For some reason, it's always mental health. Whatever. I want you to think about the kids that were killed in a mass shooting. Just think of one. We live in America, so there's plenty that didn't happen. So I just want you to think of one, and I want you to think about what if people got online and started saying that, oh my God, he's so sexy, and he slaughtered 30 kids. I hate to use that as an example, as a really fucked up example, but that's the only way it makes sense. It doesn't have to be schools. What about the man who shot up Vegas? He went to one hotel and he was having a bad day or something, and so he shot up the Strip. And what if people started dressing up as him for Halloween and making a documentary off him? And ooh, yeah, he's so sexy, I want him to shoot me. See how that doesn't make sense? See how it makes it sound worse? It sounds really bad when you say that out loud. I don't know why it's not the same for serial killers, but I think it's because media romanticize them. I want to move on to the next point in this video, and that's talking about the downfall of true crime content. So here's the thing. It's almost like how people romanticize and fantasize about serial killers. It is with true crime. They are talking about true crime like it's just some cutesy little story someone made up and wrote a book about, and now they're just reading it out loud. No, these are real people committing real crimes. I think a lot of people forget that. I really feel like a lot of people who create true crime content, obviously you're just doing it for the money off of their content. I think that is obvious at this point. But I also want to point out the fact that they're kind of rude. They're a little insensitive to the topic at hand. For example, watch this. It was a dark and stormy night, and the girl was walking down the street when she was kidnapped and stabbed and beaten brutally. And hold on, this is the concealer that I'm going to be using for today. It is Anastasia Beverly Hills, shade 580. Beaten brutally and wrapped up in tinfoil and ball gagged and chopped up into little pieces. And by the way, don't forget that this is the eyeshadow palette that we're going to be using today, the James Charles palette from 2018. Put in a bag and thrown into the local river, and they took her dog and he cracked this. And then lastly, we're going to be placing the scrunchie on my hair. If you click on the link in my bio, I will get paid for this. So I just want you to just remember to click on the link in my bio to buy this scrunchie. 3 days later, she washed up on shore the way this sponsorship washed onto my front door and into my email. Thank you guys for sponsoring me today. Hello, friend. You get what I'm saying here, how desensitized. You know what? Ain't no mother. I will beat somebody's ass. I swear I would beat somebody's ass. Ain't no way you talking about my family member while also simultaneously doing your makeup. Also throwing out sponsorships, and also ain't gave me a dime. It asked me my story, and this is usually fresh. They can't keep recycling the same story, so new stories happen and they tell the story. I get it. True crime isn't a bad thing. I don't think that telling it is a horrible thing, but I think you have to have some sort of fucking respect when you tell these stories. Midway through telling how my family member was bound and beaten, you out here giving freaking tips on also how to do your concealer right. And cracking jokes in between and trying to be funny and shouting out your Instagram and just what is going on? It is crazy out here. Oh my God. A lot of true crime podcasters and YouTubers is all about clicks for them. They don't give a damn about your family. It's all about getting that paycheck, baby. At the end of the day, the bills gotta be paid.
Bitch, I've been grown. I pay my bills. My bills are paid.
And that's all it is. And it's unfortunate that it has to come at your family's expense. But that's just the way this world is now. It's all about getting paid. It's all about that dollar. The more clicks, the more views, the more money. Okay, so they can give a damn if Ashley was a great person. They just want to get the story out so they can buy their new $5,000 handbag next week when that YouTube paycheck hit. Okay, so before I end this video, I really want to talk about one more person. And y'all might not like me when I say this person's name. Her name is Gypsy Rose. Now, granted, she went through some traumatic shit. Her mama was fucked up in the head. I get it. But we should not be giving this person who manipulated another person into killing someone, who eventually got out of jail and is now considered an influencer. She's all over tea pages. She's all over the Shade Room. She's all over gossip tea, TikTok pages. Paparazzi is following her. She's getting interviews. I'd be damned. I wonder if she's getting brand deals too, sponsorships. It's insane to me how someone can go to jail for, secondhand murder, gets to get out and then becomes famous. Like, somebody make this shit make sense to me. And I hate people that are interacting with her content. Now we're all up in the lady's pregnancy, trying to figure out who the baby daddy is, the marriage, this, that, and the third. Like, I can't. Every time I see her name come across my page, at first I was like, okay, she finally got out. Woo, that's great. But now it's gotten to the point where it's like, y'all bitches are insane. How are y'all even giving this lady a platform? Like, I get she went through some traumatic stuff. I don't want to dismiss that at all. But guys, we have to draw the line somewhere when it comes to giving these people platforms. She went to jail for secondhand murder. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I an asshole? I don't care. I'll be the asshole. I don't know. This is what the world has come to. It feels like a Black Mirror episode. I feel like I want to go, next time the aliens come, tell them to come pick me up. Tell them to come pick me up. Because I can't do it no more. We out here romanticizing people like serial killers. We out here just not giving a fuck about the folks whose story we telling, and we just doing it for a check. And now we giving manipulators a platform for killing somebody. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm trying to be better. I really am. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying not to cuss so much. But I swear every time I start talking about stuff, I be wanting to cuss. Without further ado, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me in this past month. This last video really did really good, and I can't appreciate you more. If you guys want to hop on the capybara train, come on, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I want y'all to see how he is so eager about me wearing my hair down.
Being down for this video. I'm telling you what look better, baby, other than that damn stiff ass ponytail.
First of all, it ain't stiff.
It's stiff.
Watch it.
That's why
Watch it. You want to be a stylist so bad. You're hitting my ear up. Like, you're gonna
hit your throat.